Hello and welcome back to the next tutorial for Film Wash Color Effects for DaVinci Resolve, Volume 4. In this exercise we're going to have a look at how we can start to quickly apply these film wash looks across multiple shots. So if we come to our little sequence here, you can see we've got a, like from the get-go, we've got a number of different shots, each with their own individual mood at the moment. So the first thing we want to do is want to sort of balance everything out because it's there when film wash really starts to shine. So I'm just going to quickly come in and balance this up just a little bit. So we'll come in, we'll bring our gamma in. We'll get this a nice light saturated look here. So we'll just compare and contrast how that's looking. Let's maybe come into the curves a little bit and just give this a little bit more of a shadow in the, or a little bit more darkness in the shadows. This one's looking pretty balanced already. I'm quite happy with how that is. This one here, I'm probably going to, actually let's just brighten this up. I'm going to turn off gang custom curves here so I can just work on the luminance just to brighten this up just a little bit without affecting any of the other colours. So we'll take a look at our waveform monitor here. And let's just see. Just the relative contrast we've got going in here. So these are all filling up. This is quite nice. Maybe, actually, let's take a look at our vector scope here. Just see how saturated all of these colours are. You see right at the very end, this one's heavily saturated. I'll take some of the saturation down on that. Just a little bit, but just so it starts to not clash too much with the other ones. And maybe take the saturation up on this one here. Cool, so we've got a nice look going across here. Now none of these shots to begin with really matched each other, so we've had to do 4 individual different primary color corrections on them. So if we were to just come in and, well, let's find a look that's going to be quite good for it. Let's take maybe a 60s picture here. Quite like that sort of vintage look that's given us here. And because I'm leaving this all at default, it's actually going to be quite easy for me to just come in over these next few shots and just add that correction in. So append that node graph to all 4 of the shots. There's still probably got, this one here has probably got a little bit too much shadow going on. Bit too much contrast, so let's dampen that down just a little tad. And we'll play that back. And I quite like that look that's given us. But let's say, actually, and we'll undo, we'll just delete this 60s picture node from all of here, from all of these ones, because we'll just base memory that one. Let's say that I didn't just want to do, actually let's append that back in again. I didn't just want to do the default version. I also wanted to change it up a little bit. So maybe make that a little bit stronger, so take that to 0.6 rather than default 0.5. We'll add another serial corrector here and come to our window, maybe add a small vignette onto this as well. Soften that up, size that up a little bit more. Invert that around, so we're just working on the outside. Turn it off a moment. And just take that down just a little bit. Take the saturation down just a little bit as well. So we'll just add a little bit of vignetting around the outside. Cool, so we've got a nice before and after. Before and after. Now the good thing about working with DaVinci Resolve here is that we can come in, if I right click somewhere in the clear space in the Powergrade window here, I can come down to the bottom here and go copy grade with preserved number of nodes equal to either 1 or 2. What this means is that when I copy this grade up, I can choose to preserve either the first node or the first 2 nodes. So if I set this to 1 now, and I come in and I then, let's just save this to memory, come over here, and then I load this one into memory now, what it's done is it's preserved that first node for me and then just apply the other 2 over the top. So in this way we can very quickly come in and just paste that same effect across the different clips without destroying our primary color correction that we've done there. So that's very cool as well. Now there is another way of doing it as well, and let's come in and we'll take a look at this here. All I'm going to do is very quickly, I'm just actually going to use the auto color just to bring up the contrast on this, because everything else is fine. I know this works. What we can also do is, instead of working in the clip tab, we can also be working in the track tab here. And let's find something that might look quite cool. Let's go for something, actually maybe a cross-color flashback would be suitable for this one. So what I can do here is, instead of adding the correction, which won't do anything right now, or appending the node graph, which again won't do anything right here, what I can do is I can display my node graph, and this shows me all of the nodes that are going in to making up this particular look. So when working in the track here, all I have to do is mimic what's going on here. So I can see at the top I've got 3 color correctors. So let's come in and we'll go add node corrector. Let's just plot these in to the input and the output. We'll add another serial and another serial. I'll also add a layer mix so I can see. And I just have to plot the input into here and make sure that everything's working out. This is probably quite a complicated one, but make sure that everything's working out as it is in the main mixer here. So I know that node number 3 is going to the bottom of the layer mixer inputs, and layer number 5 here is going to the top one. And so at this point I can just click and drag over the different nodes into my new one that I have over here. hit exit if I'm happy, toggle the wipe, and now I know that I can still come in and mix this back how I want it to, and this is now applied across the entire track. So it's given everything on this track the same look. I can still come in on an individual clip by clip basis, and let's ruin this clip a little bit. Let's take this really heavily green just so you can see it. I can still go on an individual clip by clip basis and work in the clip nodes to do my corrections on a clip. So that's cool as well. But I hear you cry from your seats. What if I don't want it to apply to everything on this particular track? You see here we've got, a whole load of other stuff where it doesn't quite work, and yet it's still being affected. Well, it's quite easy. So if I come to the first frame of my clip here, this is where I want the effect to start. I can just come up to the master line here on my track and drag that keyframe over to the start frame of my clip. And this has created another keyframe for me across every single layer. And this is important because now as I go back, the previous layers are unaffected by the corrector that I've put on. But as soon as I come over here, we can now see it working its charm. Let's actually turn that up a little bit so you can see that even more effectively. And of course, if I wanted to stop that at any point halfway through, I can just come in and again drag another mark out over here, and that will effectively add a keyframe that will take me back to the original color. So that's really cool if you just want to do a just like a small sequence in a particular grade. So that concludes our look at how we apply film wash color effects for DaVinci Resolve to a sequence of clips. So we've only just touched on the possibilities for film wash, but I hope you can start to see the potential and the inspiration behind these particular power grades. Alright, thanks a lot for now. I'll speak to you again soon. Bye now.